On a scale of 1 to 10, what's your pain level today? If I had $1 for every time I've heard a doctor ask me that question and I've given them a high number, I would be a rich lady. Today, we're talking all about pain, something that all of us can relate to in one way or another, whether it's a simple pain like an earache or a complicated pain like joint pain from rheumatoid arthritis. The good news is herbs hold the answers. And today we're going to talk about my top 5 herbs that I personally have used for pain relief. Now, you know my story. I've told you guys the whole story. I had Lyme disease, and for me, the number one problem Lyme disease caused was joint pain. In fact, it got so bad that it developed into a diagnosis of rheumatoid arthritis, and my main problems were with my hands and my feet. My joint pain was completely debilitating, okay? Like, I was at the point where I was taking so many prescription painkillers. And when I tell you I was on 13 prescriptions at 39 years old, and I knew something had to change. Because if you've ever been on prescription pain meds, you know what that's like. I didn't feel like myself. I felt kind of like a zombie. And I was worried about getting addicted to these pain pills that really weren't helping me all that much anyway. And so, as you know, I learned about herbs, and it brought me on this journey that led me to become an herbalist and teach you these lessons today. And so pain is usually one of the top requests I get as an herbalist. When people come for a consultation, more often than not, there is some sort of pain in play. And so these 5 plants are the things I turn to personally for pain. Now, I am not giving you medical advice today. I am not a doctor. I am an herbalist, and these are the plants that work for me. But do your own research. Always talk to your healthcare provider to make sure no plants that you're taking are going to interact with the drugs you're taking, because they can interact. So we want to use caution, and we want to do this the right way. We want to be careful. So let me just introduce you to 5 of my little herbal friends today. The first one is one we've actually talked about a bit before, and this is turmeric. So turmeric is a root. I'll show you. This is what it looks like. We used some of this when we made fire cider together 2 weeks ago. So turmeric is anti-inflammatory. And for me, when I was at the peak of Lyme disease, when I was at my sickest, I was eating ibuprofen like candy. Can any of you relate? And it was so bad for my stomach. I mean, it just ruined my gut health. But I could not function with my joint pain without taking constant anti-inflammatories. So turmeric was really the first med replacement that I tried. And instead of taking ibuprofen, I started taking turmeric. And I always take turmeric with black pepper. So I have black pepper on the plate too, because the black pepper actually makes the turmeric more available where your body can absorb it. If you take turmeric without the black pepper, you're kind of wasting your time because your body won't know what to do with it. The black pepper is going to open the right pathways so the turmeric can do its job. So turmeric and black pepper were the first thing I discovered for pain relief, and this made an immediate difference with my joint pain. And so that was the first plant that gave me any relief for pain in particular. So then, if you remember, along with joint pain, my number 2 symptom was shingles. With Lyme disease, I continually was getting shingles where my body was so stressed out from fighting this invasion. And so for shingles pain, the doctor prescribed something called gabapentin. This is a drug that is prescribed for all kinds of pain now, and it is highly addictive. Unpopular opinion, it is a drug I do not think is good to be on long term. And for me, I had terrible side effects on it. Number 1, I gained a bunch of weight. When I was on gabapentin, I just was continually gaining weight no matter what I ate. Number 2, the gabapentin really gave me brain fog, and I noticed my short-term memory just got real bad. I couldn't keep up with what I was doing, you know, and it was beyond the normal thing of being in my 40s where like I'd walk in a room and then forget what I walked in the room for. This was next level forgetfulness, and I feel pretty sure it was coming from the pain meds, because when I switched to plants, that went away and my short-term memory improved. So the plant that I replaced the gabapentin for shingles pain with is lemon balm. And I've told you guys if I could only grow one herb, it would be lemon balm. And it's because this herb literally changed my life, okay? When I tell you I was just completely disabled with the shingles pain. I would get shingles that would wrap around my side and along my rib cage, and it was so painful I could hardly bear to wear a shirt. It was awful. And so when it would flare up, it meant weeks at home, hidden away because I couldn't hardly bear to put on clothes, and I just couldn't even function. Well, lemon balm hits nerve pain at the root, okay? It comes in as a nervous system regulator, and it calms those nerve pathways. And for me, a lemon balm tincture gave me immediate relief for my shingles. And so I take lemon balm every single day still as a preventative. I'll either take it in a tea or I will take a little bit of lemon balm tincture, but I make sure to include lemon balm in my diet or in what I'm doing every single day. So we had turmeric, then we had lemon balm. Next we have white willow bark. Now, if you haven't heard of this one, it is truly special. This is the bark from a white willow tree, and it contains salicin, which works as a pain reliever. So you can tincture white willow bark, you can infuse this into an oil and turn it into like an ointment or a salve. White willow bark helped immediately with my joint pain when I used it topically. So in particular, I had a lot of trouble, I told you, with my hands and my feet. And I used willow bark topically for my hands, and it was the first thing that gave me any relief from the morning stiffness. So if you have arthritis or you've dealt with some sort of like autoimmune joint pain, you may know exactly what I'm talking about. It's this experience of when you wake up in the morning and you feel almost like you're in a body cast, like you can't move. It's so terrible. And it's just this puffiness, and like I would feel like if I moved my hands, it was just excruciating. And so willow bark topically started to give me relief, and I noticed they would start to loosen up and I could have a little more movement. And it was a gradual change, but over time it really started to help. And now I don't have any of that anymore. The morning stiffness is completely gone. I don't deal with any of that. My hands are great. I can do buttons, I can work with my herbs, I do a lot of canning and gardening, and my hands work again. And honestly, I credit the Lord with my healing, but He did it through plants. And that's why I'm here teaching you this, because I feel like somebody out there is in the boat that I was in, 5 years ago, where you're taking all these pain pills and you're not getting any better and you're feeling really hopeless. And if that's you, plants. You've got to learn about plants. Okay, so we have talked about turmeric, we've talked about white willow bark, and we've talked about lemon balm. Another one for pain is Feverfew. Feverfew is a really pretty plant. This is dried, but they look almost like teeny tiny little daisies. And you can use the flowers and the leaves from Feverfew, and it specifically targets headaches or migraine pain. And I have found that Feverfew is most effective if you take it as a tincture. And if you struggle with migraines, taking that tincture as a preventative can help a ton. So I find it works well just for regular headaches too. I will even just grab a few leaves off my Feverfew plant and eat them, like chew them up if I have a headache. And it's sort of like taking a Tylenol or something. It brings some instant relief, like an Excedrin migraine, something like that. But if you struggle with chronic headaches and you get migraines a lot, I would try this on a daily type of protocol and see if it brings you any changes. But Feverfew is a beautiful plant, so you should add it to your garden, and then you can cut and dry it and use it for headaches. And then there's one more, and this is the newest herb that I've learned to work with for pain, and it's Comfrey. So here you can see a plate of cut up Comfrey leaves. I harvested these this morning, and we're gonna let these dry, and I'm gonna turn this into a pain relief salve. Now, Comfrey is specifically known for helping with bone pain and with muscle pain, any sort of musculoskeletal pain, body aches. Okay, so If you have injury-specific pain, Comfrey topically can make a huge difference. You can, if you have like a broken bone, obviously you're going to go to the doctor and get that broken bone set. But for pain relief, you can wrap Comfrey leaves. Like let's say your arm's broken, you could actually wrap Comfrey leaves around the arm and it can bring topical pain relief. Comfrey is an amazing plant. And so I encourage you to dig in and learn a bit about Comfrey. For me, I have used it for all the men in my life. It seems like the #1 request from the men around here is for Comfrey. And so my husband, Josh, he deals with tennis elbow. And so when it flares up, Comfrey salve. My father-in-law actually told me this weekend I had given him a tin of my Comfrey salve to try because he struggles with a lot of arthritis pain in his ankles. And he has tried all the creams, all the ointments, all the things. And I was so excited. Sunday morning at church, he told me that this gave him relief. He was like, I don't know what's in that stuff you gave me, but it helped. And I was so encouraged. So Comfrey for topical pain relief for things like a pulled muscle or a sprain or any sort of injury. Comfrey comes in like a friend and brings some real relief when you need it. So now you know the herbs. There are 5 herbs you can start with to start unpacking your pain. But you also need to know a few things about dosage and safety, and can you combine these, and how do you use them, and what preparations, and how do you even make a tea, and how do you make a tincture, and how do you make a salve? If all of these questions are running through your mind right now, I have something special I want to show you. I'm really excited about this. Last week, I announced the release of my new book, The Everyday Herbalist, and I got a printed copy to show you. So now this book is going to give you all those details, how to make all the things with the herbs. There are profiles in here where you can learn specifics about over 24 herbs, and there's recipes for all of the things that I'm using for my family on the regular. All the recipes are in here. Now this will come to you as a PDF instant download, so you can literally be reading it 30 seconds from now. You can scan the QR code on the screen and you can download it immediately. And then you can send it off and get it printed. If you want a paper copy, I got mine spiral bound. Send it to Staples or Office Depot or wherever you like to do your printing. And you can print just the pages that you want to keep for reference, or you can print the whole thing. It's about 85 pages long. But I am so excited about this book. I'll show you a little peek. So here you can see the herb profiles inside. And this truly has my heart in it, my heart for herbs and the way God has used plants to completely transform my life. And so I hope you'll download a copy of this and put it to use in your family. Start building a home apothecary. And most of all, my prayer for you is that you will never be dependent on pain pills. I pray you'll have plants to be your friends, to support you when times of pain come around, so that you don't wind up dependent on pharmaceuticals. And in today's world where addiction is rampant, it is so important for us to know how to manage pain the right way. So remember, pain can be a friend because it's a warning system. It tells us something's going on in the body, but it doesn't have to be life controlling. And there are things that can help. So consider herbs, consider plants, and scan the QR code on the screen and grab my book, The Everyday Herbalist, instant download. Start reading today. And let me know in the comments, what are you using for natural pain relief? I would love to learn from you, and I'm sure you have lots of stories that you can tell as well. And on that note, I want you to know you guys have been blessing my socks off lately with emails. So many of you are sending me letters and telling me your stories and telling me all about the things you're learning about herbs. And I just want you to know I'm reading every email, and I so appreciate your love and encouragement. I wish that I could respond to every single one of you individually, but it just seems impossible. I try to do some every day, and I'll answer 30 emails and refresh, and there's 200 more that pop up. So I can't respond to everybody, but I'm doing my best. But I want you to know I'm reading your emails, and it truly does mean the world to me. So thank you. Thank you for supporting my little dream to teach herbs and to offer herbs to my friends and my community as an alternative to traditional medicine. So don't give up. if you're dealing with chronic pain, if you're discouraged, give plants a try. Take a look at herbs, do some research, and you might just be surprised to learn that the answer has been in plants all along.